The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker, as always, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Badger. How you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Been cracking on with YouTube this week. I did my own film, Paul's Indoor Boot Sale, which was probably one of the weirdest films I've ever made. and I'm working on Ballamoron 2 with the thanks to the lovely Nick. We did a day's worth of filming in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Last Sunday morning. Yeah, so I've managed to film the last half of the film. So fingers crossed that's going. And I'm working on the third of my para-control activity series. So
cool.
It's good stuff.
Cool. No, that sounds good. Okay, this week we are looking at horror films. We have two short films and a feature film, which I will get to later. Now, the first of our short films is one that you actually suggested us doing.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have come across this probably if you hadn't. This is, where are we, from 2025, and it is called Jason Universe Sweet Revenge.
That's correct, yeah. They couldn't call it a Friday the 13th film because I don't know the ins and the outs of it, but I know that some people own the Jason Universe title.
Right.
And some people own the Friday the 13th thing. Yeah. So it's a bit complicated copyright-wise. So that's why it's not branded as a Friday the 13th film, but it is all official, apparently.
Oh, it's kind of official fan fiction.
Yeah, it's an official advert for cider.
Well, the writer and director of this is Mike P. Nelson. The cast is Ali Ionides, Shyla White, Natasha Wakey, Toussaint Morrison, Chris Carlson, Kevin Cray, Beth Cray, Kaylee Cairns, Gio Contreras, and Tim James.
Yeah. See, quite a large cast for quite a short film, I felt.
Yeah. The synopsis for this says, a group of teenagers arrives at Crystal Lake Camp, but one thing they don't know about this place is they were being stalked and mysteriously killed by a mysterious serial killer who is out there for revenge. I get a feeling that may have been written by AI because
yes, it does.
It
does. And they're very careful not to mention Jason or any of the Friday the 13th trademarks.
Now, what I would say right from the outset is they were very old-looking teenagers.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged them as teenagers. I don't think they should have said teenagers because just say young adults and then you've got a broader thing there.
That's another reason why I think it may have been written by AI, because I think they sort of like write a synopsis for a Friday the 13th style film, and it's just sort of gone, oh, well, that's all teenagers going to a camp. So yeah, I mean, they are a lot older than I thought they would be.
Yes, and I personally think they need to modernise the series anyway. So it would go with adults going there and stuff. I think they need to lean into that direction.
The idea of the fact that what used to be like a camp for teenagers and that sort of thing, that's now been bought and turned into like a holiday camp.
Yes.
So you would get adults there or young adults there.
That's right.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think they should have leaned into that idea a bit more. Like, they need to lean into the whole thing of 18 to 30 people going there, broaden the cast, broaden the storylines. They keep saying they're going to release more Friday the 13th films, so they need to broaden the storyline so far.
I get the idea. The idea. I mean, for with the original slashers, the idea is it's similar to the kind of the Asian horror films, which is the fact that you automatically feel protective of kids.
That's right.
So if you've got teenage kids, you kind of
Mm.
like they're slightly older, but you still feel protective of them. So you're still worried about them. So you feel for them
That's
rather than. Although having said that, I mean, when I watched the reboot of Friday the 13th, the first lot of kids that were killed, I actually thought, oh, that's really bad because they're really nice kids. The second lot that were killed in the main part of the film, I actually wanted them all to die because they just annoyed the hell out of me.
yeah. Um, there's a few films out there recently, like that make you want the bad guys to win. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
there was a film during COVID. I can't remember the name of it, but it will come to me later. And literally, you are egging on the paranormal force to kill this really annoying driver. She is like, it's called Dash Cam, I've remembered.
All right.
Dash Cam. And you want whatever's after her to kill her because she's so annoying.
Yes. Now, what I will say, I think they did well in this. Although I take your thing about it being an advert for cider. Um, But what I did think was good was the fact that there was some good kind of nods uh, to the original to the main series of films. Especially the ending of the first film, like in this where someone comes up from the lake and grabs the girl. There was some really good bits like that where it kind of like nods back to the old series and that. And I quite like the twist at the end of it.
Yes, the twist at the end is fantastic because not many of them have done that. And this is why it's a bit fresher, it's a bit original. It's like no one really leans into the fact that the lake has got paranormal powers.
Yeah,
A lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, Jason's a deadite, so it crosses over with Evil Dead. I understand that. But they haven't really explored the fact that what's in the lake that makes Jason like this. They
yeah.
sort of do it in Jason Takes Manhattan, where he turns into a little kid again and then grows again.
I
But they need
always
to explore that more.
I always wanted to link it to. There's a really awful film. It's one of the few films I've never been able to watch all the way through because it is so bad. It's called The Day It Came to Earth,
Okay, I think
and
I've heard of that.
the basic premise of the film is that this guy who is he was a gangster gets killed and he gets he gets shot and then he gets chained to some concrete blocks and thrown into this lake, right? um and a meteor lands in the lake and brings him back to life, and I always thought that somebody should link those two films together and make that the lake.
Yes, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
That
Like how
there's this power in the lake that was brought into it by this meteor, so that when things go in there and die, they come back to life with sort of like supernatural powers.
that's right. I mean, the thing is, even Halloween has got its own version of what brings Michael Myers back.
Yeah,
It's technically not canon anymore, but they did give a reason. It's called the Book of Thorn, and it was a cult that
yeah,
brought Michael Myers back each time. That is something that they need to consider when they're rebooting Friday the 13th. There was one particular one, I don't remember which one, but there was a psychic girl that brought him back and he bubbled up through the lake.
all right.
Um, but once again, previous to that, why did he keep coming back? You can't say, oh, his rage is unbounding. You know, they need to find something in there. A crossover with Evil Dead or that other film would be fantastic. There needs to be a tangible reason.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I mean, there were some good effects and some good makeup in this film for such a short film. Obviously, because it was sponsored by a cider company,
Angry,
they
yeah,
had a bit of money to put into it. But
yeah.
there are some really good effects and good makeup in this. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it really makes me like sort of enthralled for practical effects when you can see like the kills and they make sense. Even when Jason sort of stepped on that guy and you
Yeah.
could hear all the crushing noises and things like that. And it was good to see Jason using different weapons and stuff.
Yes.
Everyone attributes Jason to with the machete, but in the early films, he would use anything that he could pick up.
Well, I thought
He
it
was
was
sort of leaning towards that.
I thought it was good the fact that the girl took the machete from the shed and then he took it later on.
Yes.
So he didn't have the machete at the beginning. That was very good. The only
Yeah.
thing that got me about it was right at the end, although there was the twist at the end and that sort of thing, right at the end, you don't find out what happened. So are they going to do another one?
I really hope so because you want to know what brought her back from the dead. A
Yeah,
lot of people are saying, was she dead to begin with? Yes, she must have been because time passed. When Jason pulled her in the lake, it was light, and when she
yeah,
bubbled out, it was nighttime. So there has to be something in the lake
something.
that's
Yeah,
brought her back out. And yeah, I do want to see more because I want to see what happens next. I want to see do they team up? Do we get a Freddy versus Jason style thing where they fight and things like that, or does Jason sort of take a sideline in the next one and she's the main killer? There
yeah,
are a lot of different avenues to follow, so I do hope they make a sort of a sequel,
yeah,
or or if somebody else picks it up and makes another sort of unofficial sequel to that, even if we get some sort of closure,
it
that'd
would
be
be nice
great.
to know what happened to her and Jason. Just sort of like where do we go from here?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Okay. The second of our two films is again 2025. This is from our friends at Deformed Lunchbox. Always good for a laugh, and some really good films that aren't funny. They're just sort of great. They do make some great stuff. This is called The Chocolate Monkey.
yeah,
Uh, the writer was Denman Hatch, and the director was Dan Dugay. The cast is Sam Bisky, Sinclair Sandman. And the synopsis says things don't go as planned when two friends watch the big game. Um, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it was funny and good as always, but as always, it's just kind of got some. There are bits in it you just kind of go, "What the hell's going on?"
I know what the hell is going on. And this is another one where you have to use your imagination to fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
I watched it 3 times because I wanted to try and see if there was any nod to the calls of the events. Um, the only thing I can attribute it to is that the cheeky monkey aspect of did that happen? And
yeah.
maybe did the monkey possess him? Was there a paranormal aspect to the chocolate
I
because it
don't know.
moved around the fridge?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think is that it was hiding, being a cheeky monkey, and then it possessed him or did something to the main character and made him do it.
It's just
Similar to the Monkey film that came out earlier this year and an official release.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just kind of like the thing you got was as I've seen things like this before, where you kind of like there was a sketch in the thing 8 years ago where somebody where a woman asked her husband where have you taken my keys? What have you done with my car keys? And he's saying I haven't got your car keys. And they have this big argument, and she ends up killing him. And then when she kills him, he's sitting on the sofa and he falls off the sofa and her keys are on the cushion next to him. And she picks them and goes, "Oh, there they are," and just goes out and gets in the car.
Yeah,
But it's a similar sort of thing, It's just kind of like there wasn't any real reason, rhyme or reason behind this. He's just gone a bit mad.
yeah, he just went a bit ape shite,
Yes,
and that's the only thing I can think. To pardon the pun, yeah, that's the only thing I can think is that maybe he had a mental health break, or was it, possessed by the monkey?
but I
Because,
thought,
like I said, the monkey does move in the fridge, and I watched
yeah,
it 3 times to see in the shot when he opened it up if it was there, and it wasn't. I looked at it 3 times
I
to see
know,
if
yeah.
something was in there. So the only thing I can think is that the monkey has moved itself out the fridge and done something to him to possess him, and then once all the carnage had been done, popped back in and hid.
But I mean, I did think that the bits where he's actually doing the stuff to his mate, the effects on that were really good.
They were insanely good practical effects, especially the electrocution scenes and the water bit as well. I was
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
it was so good, and I just couldn't help just sitting there like, you know, there you do think maybe there's something wrong with me when you've been sitting there watching somebody torturing someone and all you're doing is laughing.
Well, I found the humour on the third time. The first time I was shocked, and I was literally like, "What the, WTF is this?" You
Yeah,
know, and I've seen some deformed lunchbox films before, but this was like, "Whoa, okay, shock."
yeah,
But yeah,
no,
the practical effects was great. The
absolutely.
the sort of really short storytelling and then the extreme I thought was very good. In fact, it benefited from not having a middle because the shock value of what happened next was insane.
Yes, it. I love almost. I mean, I think there was only one film that they put on there that I didn't really like that much, but all the rest of them have been fantastic. All
Yeah,
their films on their channel are great.
I mean, there's a couple of different companies that do weekly ones, and I think Deformed Lunchbox is definitely one of the best for quality.
Yeah,
There's another company called Alter, which
yeah.
are good, but because I think they rush a lot of their stuff sometimes, it can be quite hit and miss.
Well, I think the other thing is also have this habit. Well, they've got this thing of that not all of the films they put up are ones that they've made.
Uh,
Whereas with Deformed Lunchbox, almost all of them are ones that they make. There are a few that aren't, that they kind of like host, but most of the ones that they've got on their channel are ones that they've made.
okay, that's in the difference of quality then, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
they've got more control over it, I think. So that's it. But yeah, I thought it was a great film. It's it's just bizarre, but great.
Yeah, it is bizarre but great. Yeah, and it was almost like, you know, harking back to even the first scene. You think I can, in a way, you empathise with the main character. Who ends up going nuts because his friend was like, "Oh yeah, can I have some chips?" And he literally picked up half the bowl straight away.
Yeah.
You think that would irk you from a get go, but whether or not I would mutilate and torture someone over that, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure I'd do that over a chocolate monkey, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. And then at the end, when they literally gorged it in their mouth as well, it wasn't even, oh, I'll have some of that. It
You
was
know,
literally
the,
like,
you know the worst thing about it is though, is that after I watched it, and I've been sitting writing there, and I watched it through and all this kind of thing, I thought to myself, I really fancy getting one of those chocolate
I
monkeys.
know, I was like, I really fancy one of those. Yeah.
I wonder if we can buy them over here. I don't know.
Well, the nearest we can get is a chocolate Santa now, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the thing, yeah. One of those chocolate Santas. I'll be getting one of them.
yeah. Oh well,
So that yes, that was very high octane, very much so.
it was very good. I did like it. Okay, so our feature film this week. This was especially asked. I was asked especially to do this by my good friend Frank Aguilar, who came on as a special guest presenter a little while ago. This is a film from Strange Films 2025, and it's called Cho: A Tale of Voodoo.
Yes.
Um, it's done by Strange Films along with Southern Creative. The writer is Frank Aguilar, and the director was his son August Aguilar. The cast, see if I can pronounce some of the names. The
Please
cast,
excuse us if we can't, if we get it wrong.
Kenny Klugovich, Kitty Wu, David Tai Chow, Tara Beavers, Karen Cull, Ilana Lowe, Eileen Sullivan, Bud Bullen, Mark Hayes, Lauren Alenia, Samantha Schumo, uh, Cora Coring, Raymond Bolden Jr., Sana Herter, and Dan Mucha. There may be some others, I think, but they're the ones that I've got listed. The synopsis, it says this is based on true events. Synopsis says successful businessman David Cho finds his life and loved ones in peril after being cursed by a vengeful woman. It's an interesting story. It says it's based on true events. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
I'm not.
probably that there are some elements that could be true. Maybe the party trick bits, maybe with him warming the woman's foot and making her convinced that she was drinking beer, and
Yeah,
maybe he was possessed and stuff. It's very much a, I can't see him being able to Hadouken out a white ball in real life. Yeah, there was a lot that was a bit unusual for me.
I wouldn't say I've ever, for somebody who is very into horror films and supernatural films or that sort of thing, I don't believe in any of it.
Okay.
So,
See, whereas I'm quite the believer. I've had a few weird things happen to me that maybe we'll talk about in the Halloween episode. But I
yeah,
have had supernatural and paranormal experiences.
I kind of have always thought that things that, and I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying anything else, but I personally don't believe in it, and I think that all of those, anything that has happened could be explained if it was looked into properly. So I've never, it's like I don't believe in ghosts or spirits or any of that kind of stuff. I never have done, and I just don't, you know. If it ever happened and I was to see it and something was to happen to me, then maybe I would. But at the moment, I just,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think it's definitely one of these things where if you experience it, then you start to believe.
yeah,
Like a short story is in my family, we have a wind up music box that's like a fiddler on the roof.
right,
And every now and again, even when I go and visit my mum now, it will just randomly go off. And you can guarantee something weird in the family happens after that. It's like my dad had a near fatal injury. He fell from the roof of the house. And while he was doing the guttering, he survived the situation, but it was a bad fall. And directly after that happened, this bloody music box started going off. So and every time someone dies in the family, this music box will just go off out of nowhere.
yeah.
So there are some weird little things that happen.
I mean, yeah, I don't, I'm not the sort of person who would say, no, you're wrong, because I don't know.
Hmm.
All I would say is that I've never had anything happen to me, even when I've been in places that other people have said to me, oh, it's really, and I've
Yeah,
been in these places and thought, I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing, it's,
yeah.
you know,
Another
so,
another weird little story was when I was at work once, and this was when they used to do the 10 o'clock finishes. So I'm pretty much on my own. It's me, a couple of people, and the security guard. No one else is about. And no word of a lie, I've come out of the one room and then I've looked round, saw a shadow fly by, and I was like, what's that? And then directly after that, two doors along this massive corridor. So you got the two doors like that. One opened, boom, couple of seconds, and then another one, boom, opened. There's no wind, there's nobody else there, but for some reason, these two doors opened up like that out of quick succession, and there was this weird forming shadow as well.
okay,
Uh,
I know.
Gives
As
me
I
the
say,
jeebies talking about it.
it's weird. I've been to places where people have said to me, "Oh, it's this place is it's definitely got spirits in it and all that." And I go there and I've spent hours in these places and thinking it's just an old building. You know, I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not receptive or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you might have a closed mind to it, and
Yeah.
it's
But
yeah. Until you experience it, when you do experience it, perhaps you'll change your mind. Yeah.
maybe, maybe. But I mean, as I say, it's an interesting story, and if it is based on true events, then it's yeah, maybe they've done is they've what's the word I'm looking for? They've kind of used the basic idea as a thing, and they've kind of built upon that to make it into a usable story for a film. I don't know, um, but. It was good, but it got a little bit disjointed part way through.
Yes,
He kind of had a bit of it, and then they did the bit where he was doing the karaoke, and there was the photo shoot. It all just seemed a bit disjointed as a story.
for me, I thought they were going to go back to the start at the end, and you were going to see what happened after he got possessed. But
Yeah,
there was no clear for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but it felt like there was a film beforehand we should have watched, or there were scenes that explained things a bit better that were cut out. I
what?
would have liked to have seen him get um like sort of like exercised. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have liked to have seen because they cut that middle. You never really saw. And how did he gain his powers? All we got is I've got these powers. We did, there was no explanation to how he got them. Was it because of a residual effect that he was possessed? Was it that he always had those and he was drawn to it? There was a lot of questions unanswered,
yeah,
and especially at the end, after it all, like there was some, after credit cutscenes that developed more and more storyline, and I'm like, where has this come from? Usually when you watch a after credit cutscene, it makes sense, but for me, they were trying to develop another story, but yet we hadn't really had the bulk of what we needed.
See,
It was a great watch, but there needed to be more. I
I,
want
I,
more.
I wondered if they made this film with the idea of they're going to make another film, and that was just to introduce him as a character and these guys who were kind of hunting him.
Hmm.
And if there's going to be a sequel, it almost reminded me of like a pilot episode
Yes.
for a TV show,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It has that vibe where it's like, it needed a bit more. For me,
Yeah,
it just felt like, when some filmmakers and it happens a lot in film, not only in low budget, not in mid budget, even on YouTube and stuff, where they concentrate too much, and it happened in the Sony Spider Verse films. They concentrate too much on the sequels, and
yeah,
not on the film they're actually doing. So
yeah,
you've got this nice big wide vision, and he thinks, oh yeah, this will lead to this, this will lead to this, this will lead to this. But he needs to concentrate on that one thing first to develop the character. There
yeah,
were some great characters. There were some fun sort of like situations, and it was a really good sort of thing to see him with his powers. But I need more from that to develop going into another one.
absolutely. And I mean, as you say, I mean, it was a good film, and I think that there were some excellent effects and some really good makeup things in it as well. I think there were some great bits. So the woman whose stomach explodes is it's brilliant, brilliantly done. And as you say, the ball of light sort of firing the ball of light, and that was all really good. It was all really well done.
For a
Um,
super low budget film, I thought it was really well done. And like you say, the way that the stomach come out and the entrails, it was probably. I mean, I've never seen that in real life, thank God.
no,
But obviously that would be probably akin to what would really happen. You wouldn't get like a mountain of stuff coming out. You'd get a little bit. And
yeah,
so sometimes understating works better than overplaying. And that's
absolutely.
a good example.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was a really good film. But as you say, I think the film itself, there was a bit missing from the story that kind of like needed to flesh out exactly who he was and why he was had these powers and what that was all about.
And why was she interviewing him? They never really got to that, did they? Like,
Yeah.
how did they meet? Why is she wanting to interview him?
And
That's why
then
I thought there was going to be a bit at the end that was going to resolve the start, and we never got that.
and then at the end you've got that thing of these seem to be two, I don't know if they're detectives or who they are, but they're searching for him or trying to, you know, find, trying to get him. And they kind of go off and follow him, and you don't know why they are doing that, who they are, or what that's all about.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe there will be a sequel. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Frank and August will happily be in touch and let us know. I may see if I can do an interview with them. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
let's hope so. And definitely convince him to sort of arrange some sort of director's cut where he fills in the bits that are missing. Because for me, it was a perfect film, but
yeah,
imperfect at the same time. There's just some holes in it that need to be filled to make it a proper project. In
yeah,
my
no, I agree. I think it was, yeah, it was a good film. It was well made, but there were elements of the actual story that needed filling out. Um, so there you go. Okay. Well, so there you go. There were their three films. There's Jason Universe, Sweet Revenge, uh, Chocolate Monkey, and Chow, Tale of Voodoo, which I'm not sure is out yet for the public, but will be soon, I believe.
yeah.
Um, so yes, further to one of our the film or the film that I reviewed with Frank Aguilar, Brute 1976. That has now been picked up and is streaming,
Oh, right.
and is also having a physical media release as well. So it will be released on DVD as well. And I would say it's definitely worth watching if you like the late 70s slasher movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that sort of thing, Hills Have Eyes, those sort of things. You'll love Brute 1976.
Oh, definitely we'll take a look then.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Okay, thank you, Badger, for being on here as always. I'm sure you will be
For the invite, I love it.
sure you will be returning soon. I'll be back again with some more science fiction next time. And I have a different guest presenter for that one. Who's doing that one? Trying to see who that's doing. Uh, what's the date?
I
Going
know I'll
mad.
be back for the day before Halloween.
Oh, my friend Chris will be helping me on that one. And
Right, and
so
I'll be back for the Halloween
you
episode.
will be back for the Halloween episode where we will have two feature films and we will have a short film which I've only just been asked to review. Brand new one out that's only coming. It's coming out at Halloween, so we're
Ooh.
going to do that. Review that for our Halloween episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. As always, a pleasure, and I've loved it every single time. Thank you very much.
Good to have you. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening, and we will be back again soon. Also, just a reminder, if you haven't already checked it out, check out the Brawling Badger YouTube channel and see what he's doing on there. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Indeed. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hype.
Bye. The Sciforror Film Podcast.